Good morning, everyone. Great to see you here. You came to a very, highly intellectual conversation here. So I'm going to speak about war, inflation, and global recession. Why it's now the right time for inception of crypto network state. Before I begin, maybe in terms of introduction, I've been in crypto for 9 years. It's a very long time. Started to invest in crypto in 2013. Then 2015, I joined a Silicon Valley company, which was one of the first Bitcoin custodians. In Switzerland, I received the first Bitcoin custodian authorization for this company in 2016. And in 2017, founded Smart Valor, which is today the only crypto exchange in Switzerland, the first one. This is pretty much the same as Coinbase, but more targeted to local audience, Germany, Switzerland. And I think what is special, we are the first European digital asset exchange to publicly list on NASDAQ earlier this year. So that's for the background. Let's get started. So the crypto today, what is this? People ask you, right? So today we have the third iteration or definition of crypto, right? We started with Bitcoin, then later it was renamed into blockchain. You remember all the bankers that said, no, I don't believe in Bitcoin, but I believe in blockchain. So now we have the next one, we call it Web3. And I believe there is a next one after Web3 coming. Today, we call it network state. So what is this network state? The idea and the more deep definition of network state comes from Balai Srivinwan. So he was basically the CTO of Coinbase. Maybe many of you know him. He's also general partner at Andreessen Horowitz, and just very, very bright guy. So, he said that the network state can be defined by several criteria. So it's a social network with moral innovation. It has a sense of national consciousness, a capacity for collective action, right? We jointly can decide what is right, crowdfund projects, do stuff, collective action. An integrated digital currency, well, that's obvious. And consensual government limited by social smart contracts. There are two more. So the network state can also have an archipelago of crowd-funded physical territories, our own land. And on-chain consensus that proves a population, income, and real estate footprint to attain a measure of diplomatic recognition. Now, I know that sounds a little bit utopian, but if I ask you today 3 questions about your national identity, but from a different perspective maybe, answer these questions to yourself. If you travel, we all travel a lot, right? You travel and you meet people. And you have a choice to sit on table A or table B. Table A would be with family or group of people from your native country. From with Indians, Ukrainians with Ukrainians, so on. Or you have a table B where you can talk to crypto folks Where is your home? Where would you see Tracer? I know it's different answer to different people, but to me, you know, I've been living in Switzerland and Germany now for over 25 years. My home is crypto, right? I feel more connected to people from crypto than to Ukrainians, where I come from, or Germans. So that's one question. The second, ask yourself your net worth. Like, what is the percentage of your financial worth in crypto? Where do you belong? And ask yourself a question in which territory you would live, under which governance, if there would be something as crypto network state. So by answering these questions, you kind of get the idea that a lot of us are already on the way there. Now, maybe just briefly, what is nation state? Just to understand the difference. The nation state is a political unit where state and nation are the same. Great example is, for example, Japan, right? And what is not nation states, there are a lot of them also, without going too much detail, multinational states, city-states, empires, confederations. Those are all can be also countries, but not national states. Now, how does a network state looks like? This picture I borrow from Balai. I like this because it kind of shows, you know, how do we describe countries today? Population, GDP, financial assets, right? Well, imagine archipelago of land, or even just small locations, hubs, where people like us, community with a collective action, with a technology, with a vision and idea for the society, right? Where we can get together and work as one society, or country, or state. If you look at where do we stand today, we actually have made a lot of progress. There are, of course, different measures, but around 250 million people use crypto, right? It's a big nation. It's actually the 5th largest nation after China, India, US, and Indonesia, right? Because most countries are small. So, we hold financial wealth. How much money do we have, guys? Goes up and down, but up to 3 trillion, last number from November. It's a lot of money. This is also one of the top 20 richest countries. Richer than Brazil, Sweden, or Hong Kong. Not bad, right? Trillions. Oh, trillions, yep, of course. 10,000 currencies, independent financial system, and large crypto communities, large and growing, in dozens of countries, right? Singapore, Hong Kong, I come from Switzerland, right? The crypto valley is also quite a vibrant place. So, this is just the beginning, right? But it's already a good starting point. Now, let's go through just several high-level key principles of network state. And I borrow them from Balai because he just crystallized the most important points. I don't go through all of them, but those that I think are especially important. Obvious one, digital first, physical second. Decentralized administration, right? Already today we have a governance layer in a lot of projects and organizations. Imagine governance layer on the level of the country. International sovereignty via cryptocurrency. That's a new one. That's interesting. So this is the idea that every nation has their own governance layer, and this governance layer has its own access and keys. And this sovereignty is represented through the private keys of the nation. Next one, domestic monopoly of root access. So the governance layer has basically this dashboard where the rules are enabled or disabled, right? The guys who run this governance dashboard, they have the root access. It's a very powerful place, right? Comparable to the tech companies today, like Google and Facebook and so on, right? Different than those companies. Here, people, citizens of this crypto network state, has the right to exit, taking their stuff with them, which is not the case today. And this right to exit, taking your possessions with you, is limiting the root access. Because if you can leave, you know, they cannot dictate you the rules. There are several very interesting implications coming out of this concept of network state, which are not the case today when you look at countries. Like, for example, terra incognita. The normal country cannot be invisible, right? It's just there. The network state can be invisible. It can, you know, choose a strategy of being invisible and just go dark. Cannot find it. Or, for example, terra nullius, unclaimed digital territory that always exists. It can be NFT, objects, substance, real estate that is just not visible, that can also just go dark. Does not exist in national states. Or the one that I mostly like is dynamic citizenship. If you don't like this crypto network state, if it's not according to your principles and values, you can leave and go to the other one. So you can be a citizen in several places. Well, this one, the digital diplomatic recognition, it sounds like, you know, like really relationship between two countries, right? Diplomatic recognition. But in fact, on the technical side, it's just interoperability, right? That all your ledger, your assets, your people, your identities can be read by the other network state as a protocol. Finally, the last point I want to make is the birth of the crypto network state. Why it can happen now? Why not 10 years later? Why not 10 years before? Why now? There are basically two catalysts. One is the technology, and the second one is a political and economic development that we are living through today. So, on the technology, the base is late and is already here. Internet and satellite broadband access, right? Now, with crypto, what has been added is independent money, is Bitcoin, and independent everything. Media, digital ownership, access, and so on, Web3. Now, the next in line is the progress in spatial computing, virtual reality, and hardware, right? So that we don't have to wear this massive thing, that it's just your glasses or maybe just a lens in your eye and you're living in the open metaverse. This will come soon enough. So this is a technology catalyst, moving us as a humanity closer to the new form of governance, the network state. On the other side, parallel, what's happening today, guys? Yes, we hear about the war in Ukraine. The recession, the global recession is upon us. Inflation. People will start, a lot of people will start for the first time understand why Bitcoin is cool, right? Why Ethereum, soon becoming a deflationary currency, is so powerful. But the bigger topic behind it is basically the world changing order, right? For the last 400 years, we lived in a world where Western societies, our Western culture, dominates the world, right? European countries, US. But this is about to change in the next 50, 100 years. And of course, this will be not an easy transformation, and this process will involve revolution, wars, blood, and so on, right? The question is just how much. So if you put together this time of changing world order and the abilities that technology gives us, and all of this is happening now at the same time. This is why we can speak about this time being possibly the birthplace of network state. Now, the two limiting factors that I would like to touch base a little bit more in the last couple of minutes is the physical land and diplomatic recognition. How we as a crypto nation will be acknowledged as a state and have our own rights and land. For a long time, we thought that physical land is absolutely like limited supply, you cannot make it more. But actually, I love coming here because being here on this island shows that land is becoming elastic. People who are from here, guys, you created this. We're standing on a land where the ocean was, right? There's nothing. It's new, right? So the humanity came up with a way to create land. And that means that with growing power and influence and financial resources of the crypto community, there will be a way to crowdfund some land and create a capital. The second one, another interesting thought. You can think about the new commodity, country as a concept being a new commodity, commoditization of countries. It's a secondary, it's not a primary. So the network states can commoditize some countries using their land and natural resources. The secondary can become a primary. Can it? Probably just a question of time. And my favorite implication of all of this is that the result will be a hybrid citizenship. We will have two passports. One from the legacy state, the country you were born in, you have to pay certain taxes there, and you will have a second citizenship. But this one, by choice. It will be your choice to select a country where you're citizens of. And this is, guys, a new dimension of freedom, right? About 14 years ago, I was holder of Ukrainian passport, and I wanted to get a German citizenship. I had to choose. I could not have both, because Germany does not allow double citizenship. Now these times will be over, and anybody will be able to choose their country and destination and citizenship. Wow. So the goal of all of this is basically a peaceful change of world order, a peaceful change with less wars. So building this parallel state, the network state, is the key to more peaceful transformation. Because if people have a choice, they don't need to get the gun. So no wars, no revolutions, no blood. This is the ideal. Now, last question. What does it mean for all of us here? That means, first of all, that we are discovering a new land, right? We are creating this small networks, communities that will, that today later will be seen as a prototype of the future network state. And of course, like Columbus, like any, people who discovered something new, there is economic fortune that comes with this. We all invested in crypto, we got rich, right? All of this is a nice byproduct. And the social responsibility. And I think this is time for me to end my presentation. So just basically, I probably skip some of the slide. But guys, being early is great. And building financial wealth is awesome. But as humans, the responsibility and understanding the big mission we actually have, this is the real strength. So let's embrace the responsibility, let's take on the mission, and let's make it happen. Thank you so much.